Now we're going into the last and final step of negotiating with difficult people. Step 4, which is build them a golden bridge. So what does build them a golden bridge really mean? That means that you've actually now reframed the negotiation and now you build a bridge so they can come over to your side. Because remember, you're still on their side. Step 2, you disarm them, you step to their side. Step 3, you reframe the negotiation, but you're still on their side because you're still trying to win them over, still trying to have them see the situation from a different perspective. You've now accomplished that. Now you got to build a bridge so they can cross it over and come to your side. So that's what build a golden bridge really means. How can you do that? You've actually been doing it through the reframing process. But there's 3 common reasons why people do not get to an agreement or are not able to build a golden bridge. And they're reasons that you probably wouldn't think about because they're not things that you do. They're really things that you don't do, but you should do. And let me share with you what those reasons are. Number 1, I actually mentioned it a little bit ago, is build on their ideas. People usually will give a solution or will give an idea and they think they're adding value. One of the reasons why individuals don't come to an agreement or do not buy into what it is that you're selling or saying is because they don't feel it's their idea. People don't like to be told how they should be or told this is a solution. There's a saying that says, if a situation involves me, then involve me. Once again, if a situation involves me, then involve me. Always involve the other party in the solution one way or another, because that is the most common reason why there is no agreement in a negotiation. The second reason why a negotiation doesn't come to an agreement is too much too soon. And that is that you may be asking for too much too soon. What you need to remember is that everything is a process and people take a while to change their own mind. And therefore, if they're coming from a place of being angry or maybe not being happy, you have now reframed it, and now you're asking for a lot and to close a deal and who knows what else, and maybe too much too soon and they feel pressured. So you need to take a step back and you need to give them what is called acceptance time. In negotiation, acceptance time is, especially if whatever you put on the table is not their idea, they need time to accept and process whatever that agreement may be. Many people ask me, well, what does that mean? Is it 1 day? Is it 3 days? Is it 1 month? And I always say it's relative to the situation. It depends on your timeline as well. If your timeline is 7 days, then you give them 6 days. If your timeline is 5 days, then you give them 4 days. But you need to let them know, I need to make a decision or whatever it is that you need to do in 4 days. If you need to make it in 5 days, I would tell them 4 days, only because that gives them a day. If they take a little bit longer, you give yourself some room there. But acceptance time is key in a negotiation. I've seen so many times where people pressure the other person. And I see women that say, he hasn't called me or she hasn't called me. What does that mean? I'm going to call them. And they start literally stalking them. And I say, ladies, you have to give them acceptance times. It's a process. You need to respect that process. Another element that's important is it's important to give them power of choice. If you have different options, it's important to present them with options. And I'll give you 2 examples. One time I was negotiating a contract with Verizon Wireless. They asked me to create a leadership program for them. And they asked me to then submit it and create and submit a budget along with it. So I did that and I emailed the budget along with the proposal. And the person that I was working with from Verizon Wireless didn't respond to my email. That was awkward because she was very eager to get this proposal from me. She was the one that approached me, and all of a sudden I sent her this email, the proposal, a budget, and I didn't hear from her. I sent her a follow-up email a few days later and said, just want to make sure that you received my proposal. Heard nothing. So I said, okay, I need to be able to empower her with power of choice because the budget I sent her may have been too large. I don't know, and some people don't like to say no, so they rather not respond. So instead what I did, I created 3 budgets and 3 different proposals. I created one that was very minimal in cost and basically didn't get much for it. I created one that gave all the whistles and everything that was much more expensive. Then I created one in the middle that gave them a good package for a good price. And I emailed it to her and said, I know you're super busy, wanted to email you these options. Let me know if you're interested in any of them. Within 5 minutes, I got an email response and she said, yes, I'll take number 2. Well, number two, which is the one in the middle, was not the first one I had sent her. I had sent her the most expensive one because I thought that's what she wanted. But when you don't give people power of choice, they don't feel they can choose, so they'll choose nothing. And they don't respond, and you don't come to an agreement at times. But if you give them power of choice, not only do you bring satisfaction to them, you usually get an agreement much faster. Another example was with my daughter when she was young. She was about 5 years old, and I was supposed to take her to Disney World. Well, something happened, and we weren't able to go that year. And I didn't want to break her heart and tell her we couldn't go. So I went to her and I said, Mamas, I call her Mamas. She's 20 now, and I still call her Mamas. Mamas, we're not going to be able to go to Disney World. However, we can go to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, or Magic Mountain. This was like 15 years ago, so those were cool places to go at that time. And she was super excited. Mommy, I can choose? I can choose where we go? I said, yes, Mamas, you can choose. She went and she called her dad. Daddy, where should we go? She totally forgot about Disney World. She just felt empowered that she got to choose where we went to spend this short vacation. And she was as happy as ever. Of course, I still had to take her to Disney World a few years later, but at least I was able to buy some time for a few years. The last reason why someone may not come to an agreement in a negotiation is there might be unconscious or unmet needs that a person has that they may not even know they have. It may be that they need to look good in front of their boss and they don't even realize something is missing, so they feel uncomfortable about making an agreement. It may be that they need to feel more important sometimes, ego, and unless they feel that important, they're not coming to an agreement. There's many unmet needs that people may have, and it's up to you to figure out what those are. So, for example, one time I was introduced to a gentleman that worked for UPS. I have a nonprofit organization that raises money and scholarships for women to go through training for leadership and negotiation. And we raise money at our annual gala, and we have, different corporations giving to our foundation. Well, a friend of mine said, you got to meet the UPS guy. They give away a lot of money to foundations. So I said, great. I was talking to him, was great. He was telling me everything they do in the community. We were on good terms. I was looking at $100,000, in my mind, $200,000, for foundation grants. And then I don't know what came over me, and I said, yeah, I heard, Federal Express is really kicking your guys' butt. I don't know where that came from. It must have been nervous or something. He looked at me, and his face just went blank. I mean, everything we had talked, I just obviously said something. I didn't realize that they were in deep competition and that they were great rivals at that time. And I had just blown my opportunity I had blown the opportunity for this grant, and I saw the dollars kind of just dwindling in front of me for these grants, and I had to clean it up. I had to quickly figure out what I did wrong. I didn't know. So I shifted and I said, by the way, do you have children? And he said, yes. I said, are you married? He said, yes. I said, your children must be so proud to have a father like you that goes into the community and really gives back to the community to help women. And he goes, oh, I do a lot. And I said, what else do you do? And he started sharing about what he did. I said, what about your children? Are they proud? Oh my gosh, they glow. And as a matter of fact, I have their pictures here. And he pulled out his phone and he started showing. And so what I realized is that the moment that I made him feel important somehow and made him feel like a proud dad and really brought in his family, children will always do it. You bring in children, that will make, usually a father or a mother happy in a good way. Just be careful and make sure they have children before you go there. But that was an unmet need of his, and that need was for him to feel important. I had obviously taken that away from him when I said about Federal Express, but I came back and cleaned it up, and I helped meet that unmet need for him. All of these are important tools to your negotiation tactics. Don't forget to do the worksheets for this module. It will help you get ready for the next one.